Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Bring It Dawn.
Right.
Let's go speak to the Crucible Knights and see if they'll let us tag along to the hearing. And after the next stage of the main quest, I think we'll go back to Cadnua and continue with the Endless Paths. Because I do want to prioritize grinding out our Soulbound equipment. And once that's done, we'll go back and knock out the second part of the White March DLC. It feels weird, considering how intertwined the narrative is, to just leave it high and dry while we do stuff in the Deerwood. But I figured we could knock out a couple of things for a change of pace and scenery.
Mm-hmm.
He smiles warmly. What may I do for you? I understand that the Crucible Knights are attending the animancy hearings at the palace.
Indeed. Duke Avar looks to the knights for prudent counsel as well as defense. I suspect our future as a city and a nation will depend in no small part on how we handle this matter.
He claps his hands behind his back. I already know the answer to this, but we'll ask anyway. What do you think about animancy? Despite what happened with the Forged Knights, animancy merits further study in other contexts. There's much yet the animancers could do to cure soul maladies, strengthen essence, perhaps even ameliorate... Yeah, I said that right. The effects of the legacy. I've never seen this word used before. I know what it means. It means to make better, or leave in a better state, but I've never seen it used before. He scratches his chin. We won't know until we try. We can't afford to sit on our hands, while our rivals watch us grow weak. Tell me about the hearings. He gives you a gruff frown. They're progressing slower than I'd like. The dozens raise a ruckus whenever anyone so much as mentions animancy, and the Dominels are obfuscating matters on purpose. Nevertheless, I'm confident Avar will see reason eventually. I need an audience with Duke Avar. I'd like to attend the hearings. And we'll be glad to have you with us. Avar will no doubt find your presence persuasive. We need all possible support to see that he gives animancy a fair chance. Indeed. Was there something else I could do for you? No, that's it. Back to Brackenberry.
Right.
You know what? There's always a chance we'll be attacked. Assassins seem to be running rampant in the city, so we'll let me get the first hit in.
Mm-hmm.
No such luck yet.
Right.
Oh, whoops. I did not mean to put those in. There we go. Alright. Everything's back as it should be.
You must gather.
How fares your search?
Alright, Isarth 1. I'm going to do this for you. Last time you told me everything about Theos.
I've told you everything you need to know.
But not everything.
It's only right that you know everything. When I was younger, before Dunreed Row, I had many suitors. These were fine-looking men of good stock. But I could see their thoughts, and they were unimpressive. Boys' thoughts. I toyed with their affections. I resented all of them.
Lady Webb looks down at her hands, lost in thought. She shakes her head. A rattling sigh struggles to escape her throat.
And then I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. But he understood me. He knew me at a glance, told me things I didn't know about myself. He was neither handsome nor charming, but he was all I ever wanted.
You're talking about Theos.
We made a game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. Sometimes the information was very sensitive. And then one day he asked me if I trusted him. I said I did. Next I knew I was donning a silver mask and swearing oaths to Woodica. Using my gift for the leaden key still felt like a game to me, so I did it. I did it because it pleased him.
But it didn't last.
I don't like living in the dark. It's a powerless, hopeless feeling. Every day I did things without knowing their purpose. Every day I loved a man without knowing his thoughts of me. I sensed that there were things he wanted to tell me. I sensed that he knew everything the leaden key was created to hide. But Theos was unyielding. One day I disappeared without a word. He would kill me for it, and I knew that. It's their rule. I just wanted to see him plunge the knife, because then I would know. But the day never came. He has left me to wonder. I have devoted my years to learning everything I could about him, in hopes I would find some clue as to who he really was, and why he felt he had to keep his secrets locked away. I have precious little to show for it. Just an old woman nagged by old thoughts.
Rubs at a smudge on her left palm.
And that is truly everything I can tell you about Theos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
He looks back up at you. I want to discuss the animancy hearings at the palace.
What of them?
The Knights of the Crucible have accepted me into their delegation.
Good. Avar Wolfgren looks to the Crucible Knights as a voice of reason and order. Speaking from their section should lend you credibility with him. You need waste no more time here. Get to the palace. Make your case to the Duke. With him on our side, all of Deerwood can be mobilized against the leaden key, and Theos can be rooted out. I only wish I could be there to see it. There is a very old bottle of a very good brandy that I have been saving for a special day. If you hurry back afterward, there may be a little left for you. Off with you. You're going to do very well in there.
She smiles thinly.
What of them? Yes?
Okay. To the palace.
Yeah.
I highly doubt everything's gonna go as we plan. These big meetings at palaces never work out in RPGs.
Yeah. Sure.
A place has been reserved for you on the balcony, Donald. Go to the upper floor. Okay. We can do that too.
Right.
Here. Receive word from Commander Cliver that you'll be attending Donald. Or I guess that would be Cleaver. The balcony has been open for you. Thank you. We're gonna stand. There's chairs up here for us. The room below is animated amidst a heated debate. All the representative groups are easily discerned in the crowd. Crucible Knights, stiff in their noisy armor, sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House Domino, casual, watching with the Predator's interest. Still elsewhere are the ramshackle dozens, who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Interspersed are animancers in their academics' robes, with expressions either sour or concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
At the back of the chamber sits the Duke, sprawled in his throne, worn down, but alert and feisty nonetheless.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
You can see him past that pedestal. The thing is massive.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
So you admit, Master Barask, that animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
There is no need. Master Azo recently passed the Shroud, and while the experiment failed, his work
was sabotaged.
Ah, our new delegate from the Knights of the Crucible. What makes you say sabotage?
All at once, the attendees turn their faces toward you, a mishmash of judgment and incredulity. Only the Duke, a wild-looking man with a scraggly beard, seems unfazed by your interruption. I'm at a false patient in Brackenbury's sanitarium who had tampered with Azo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children.
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, Is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
This is a tough call because he was experimenting on prisoners. With lore 5, because I don't want to say he should be innocent, because after the failed experiment, no, he was not. But option 3 is also going to go against my argument. This is not the Bale Reach incident. This is a responsible scientist who is manipulated. Mouth whispers between gritted teeth. Yeah, shoot, man. What Azo did to Grom was not the work of a responsible scientist.
Horseshit! These animancers can't be trusted! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill! Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes animancy leaves!
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justicia! You turn a blind eye, and look what happens!
I've been to Heritage Hill since the quarantine. The Knights were unable to control the damage. It was not animancy. Actually, yeah, no, I'm going to go with option 2. I'm with the Crucible Knights here. The Crucible Knights are blameless here. This was not the workings of animancy, but an ancient device of Tyr Noneth.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
You think some rotting corpse or volunteer guard could stand in my way? I earned my answers.
I'll grant that you look the part.
The Duke cracks half a smile.
Tell us what you saw in Heritage Hill.
Tyr Noneth houses an Ingwithan machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was this machine that made the district undead.
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
I have reason to believe there were others at the tower who might have done this.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point! Everywhere there's animancers, there's disaster!
Because of the leaden key. Because we now know that several of the experiments that the animancers were trying to perform would have been successful if they weren't sabotaged. I'm actually on the side of animancy at this point. I think it can do a lot of good, it just keeps getting set back because of one shady organization.
We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge!
Ha! Wrong bridge indeed.
It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it!
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son, my wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs he couldn't cough up. My daughter, we put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker!
Jeez. I mean, I am sympathetic towards him, absolutely, but that's not the reason the Hollowborn is still a well, it might be. I guess we don't actually know the cause of the Hollowborn. Well, no, we do. It's the machines. It's the lead and key machines. Never mind. Sorry, it's been a while. I keep forgetting where we're at in the story.
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
I can. The crowd begins to mutter, the sound taking a doubtful character. Right idea, Watcher. Taking this hearing by the curly ones. Don't waste your chance. Weidwin's legacy is the creation of the Leaden Key. Cabin Azo's downfall was their work, as was the Tower and Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want animancy to fall. The dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I've seen them in the ruins of Irglonfoth, operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls, near towns like Gilded Vale and Deerford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I've heard their dead confess their plot. They're stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
The room laughs. Your quips cannot change the truth.
You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
The Duke leans forward in his throne, a trace of curiosity in his eyes. What's more likely? The gods are destroying Deerwood for a science practiced in many parts of the world? Or that a group of people hates animancy and wants it suppressed?
Another guess! Throw him out on his ass, Your Grace! He's wasting our time!
This is no guess. I've seen these people carrying out their missions in the ruins of Irglonfoth.
The Justiciar's right! This is sanitarium talk!
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
I mean, they weren't particularly helpful. Did a bunch of quests for them, but it wasn't tied to the Leaden Key. But this might give me more credibility. The Knights of the Crucible were instrumental in aiding my investigation.
I see. I'm impressed the Knights seized such an unlikely opportunity to find an end to all of this. But these hearings are about more than Weidwin's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
I feel like option 3 is probably the best one. It's very middle ground. I don't like that first sentence, though. It sounds a little harsh, but there have been a lot of animancers doing a little too much, like Azo. So I do think option 3 is the best one. Just so that someone needs to be watching. I mean, because Azo was doing all these experiments on well, not even prisoners. Just people in the asylum. I guess patients. So they definitely need to be watched a little closer. Because obviously the animancers aren't policing themselves, right? So the animancers of Deerwood have been given too long a leash. The practice should be restricted and controlled. And just who would regulate it? Charlatans like Azo? Or fools like Ethelmore, clueless as to what goes on within their own walls? That's my concern. That's why you have a third party come in and police it.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me collect my thoughts. And our new delegate, who, if nothing else, has made this final day a little more interesting. The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement. Ramir D. Barash, representing the interests of animancers in Deerwood, step forward.
Your Grace,
For and against animancy are both strong in their own way. I must be careful in my judgment.
Forgive me, your grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing? No! Avenge the doom!
No, wait!
Stop this at once!
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
What did I say? Meetings at a palace never go well. The words, "Shall I end it for you," ring in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theus hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, the screams and clashing of weapons fading to silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theus stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers, you among them, clustered around a wide, circular pit carved of stone. He addresses a woman bound backward over a large iron wheel, overlooking the great stone maw. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face looks like melted candle wax, black and red and seeping, and the angle of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, and her words come between strangled breaths, but they are steady, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant, who begins untying her from the wheel. You open your eyes to the beam ceiling of the palace's grand entry hall. The clangs of metal striking metal waft in from outside alongside the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Theus is gone. Donald, we need to get moving. Ravius hovers next to you, his head scanning about with nervous energy while he pulls on your clothing. Come on, no sense in standing around. Off to one side, you hear the clinking rustle of chainmail. You look over to see a wounded guard slumped against the wall. He's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it is too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb, she's the only... She must be told. To know what to do. Please, find her. Tell her everything. The guard passes out and slides to the floor. Still. Alright. So we can't get in there. Okay. I'm gonna call it here. Next episode, I guess we'll go speak to Lady Webb and... Oh. Go ahead and grab that. And go from there. We're in combat, it looks like. We might have to find our way out of here. We'll see. Either way, gonna call it here for now. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.